Here we have the chart of Alan Dershowitz, who appears to be a brilliant lawyer, but in reality seems to me to be more of a first-class gaslighter, and has a pretty serious affinity to sleaze, as evidenced by his advocacy for people like O.J. Simpson, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and now, of course, more recently, Donald Trump. Why would we be surprised? And when it comes to the astrology, he's in a bit of a fix here because you can see the Venus, which is actually quite a strong planet, so it's unlikely that any of this will take him down in any kind of serious way. But nevertheless, I'm guessing the rest of this year is going to be quite uncomfortable because the Pluto-Saturn conjunction that Jupiter will join in a triple conjunction square the Venus. And so this thing that he did on the Senate floor, where he said that as far as he's concerned, if the president believes that getting himself reelected is in the public interest, then he can do whatever he likes, which seems a little crazy, incredibly self-serving, and pretty much par for the course for the way this guy thinks. He essentially advocated on the Senate in the opposite way that he had back in the Clinton proceedings in the 1999 period. Again, why are we surprised? So now astrologically, as I say, the rest of the year is pretty tense on that account. And then we see a curious movement here, which is the planetoid Eris, which is moving through the sign Aries at a very, very slow pace. So nearly everyone alive on the planet has it in Aries. In fact, I would say everyone, because this planet is just crawling along through this sign, and the orbit is 550 years, but it's in a section of the orbit where it moves a lot more slowly than that. So it is rare to see it in transit to anything. This planet usually reveals more when you consider its movements in solar arcs, because then you get more connections over a lifetime. And in any case, it's not, again, a very complicated planet for him at birth. It trines Pluto, Y trines the moon. It's not in any particular situation to cause trouble. So even though it's going to connect with this Venus shortly, it already gets pretty close this year, but certainly from next year for about a decade, because it moves so slowly, it will be connected to this Venus. And my suspicion is this Venus here is related to all that sleaze stuff that we've heard in connection to Epstein and underage girls. You know, fifth house, it's where you have fun, right? Whatever you consider fun to be. But it's trine Jupiter, sextile Mars. It is wide opposite Saturn, so perhaps it could turn into a problem, but it's a little uncertain. I'm guessing with this chart, if something really difficult doesn't happen this year in 2020, then in 2.5+ years, when Saturn enters Pisces, and it will be opposing his Virgo planets, together with Eris fully locked into Libra, that's when he'll probably have some serious karmic debts to pay. Now, that said, the Eris situation in this chart is not nearly as complicated as, for example, Bill Cosby, in his case it took him down completely, and of course the best example of all, which would be Donald Trump himself and the Eris situation in his chart.